But
My main message with this podcast, Decoding the Flow, is to raise creative consciousness. It's this deep remembrancy where we are here to create life, not to react to it. Just like an artist facing a blank canvas, we get to choose what we create next. But for that to happen, our creative self needs to be in the driver's seat. And that's why I am so excited that today I have Danielle Olexa, or Dan, an incredible art collector and transformational coach. He is the founder of Transcendent Living, where he helps people break through limiting beliefs and step into their highest potential. He's also a passionate art collector, including some of my artwork, and I love that so much. And today we are exploring how art and consciousness intertwine. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time and for being here with me on this mission. I would love to start by for you to share a little bit about your work, and then we'll flow into the journey of your art collecting with me. Welcome to
wonderful.
Decoding the Flow.
Thank you. So happy to be here. This is awesome. The work that I do in so many ways is about creating individual lives. And I love the quote from Michelangelo. It feels so appropriate for the work I do and also for artists when he was asked, how do you carve such beautiful statues? And he said, I see the beauty of the angel trapped within the granite or the marble, and I carve away that which is not the angel. And that's kind of what I do in helping individuals create a masterpiece life is what are the things that aren't part of that? And let's carve those away, bring awareness to them so that you can start living that dream that is there inside you calling you forward. And sometimes we don't hear it until we slow down into that flow that you talk about so much and is part of your book. Is this information's coming to us all the time. And I love that you brought forward the words of create life versus react to it, because create and react are spelled with the same letters.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But it's about how do we orient that we are living forward, not in reaction to.
Yeah, it is so interesting. I was reading the work of Thomas Troward. You're probably familiar with Thomas
I
Troward.
love
Oh
loves
my, oh my gosh. It was like this download that came through me about that specific like creative consciousness. It was like, oh my gosh. Some people like to call like there is different names for it, but I love the creative consciousness because it's very intertwined with life. And it was this download that came to me that I was bawling, crying about this whole consciousness thing. So, and then I was like, okay, this is my mission. Like, how I'm gonna put it all this together. And it's like going back to what you said about the Michelangelo, which is so beautiful, right? Like he removed everything that is not there to create the beauty. And part of that raising creative consciousness is living with beauty, right? Like because the beauty brings order to life. So it's one of the things is like living with beauty and valuing beauty more than valuing ugliness and messy. So thank you so much for sharing that. And you're also both a coach and a collector. I mean, how long have you been coaching for? For like 20 years or something?
10 years now.
Wow. And
10
we've
years
been,
since I walked away.
and I know you for probably about the same. I think we first met, it was like back in 2017 when I
Pretty
met
close.
your
Yeah.
wife,
Hmm.
Sarah, beautiful. Wow. So yeah, that's how long. And I read all of your books. We're gonna put on the show notes your books too because they are incredible. So how do you see art influencing consciousness and transformation into the individual's life?
I think what I see there is there when we think about art, and there's so many ranges of art. We could talk about paintings, which would be the obvious thing to stay with right at the moment. But art could be writing, art could be photography, anything that is creative,
Creative.
and how individuals will have different tastes in art, different preferences, and and sometimes it's really easy to sit in judgment of others' preferences. And I'll put on my judgmental hat for a moment. Like, I'm not really a huge fan of Thomas Kincaid paintings. They're very
Mm,
technically there's something there. Okay, fine. He can paint like ooh, but there's something cold and impersonal about them to me. There's not a passion behind them, which there is in your work. Your line is they're so fluid. It comes forward. The color choices. And they're different ends of the spectrum in so many different ways. But he a Kincaid puzzle might be someone's first entry into wow, that was a painting, not a photograph. And it could open up other exploration that eventually takes them into more pointillistic, more impressionistic, maybe even down into the path of a Pollock. And the drizzling of paint that all creates this emotional connection that some will see it and say that's just a mess, and others like wow, there's a passion and purpose and energy that's sending a message. So as we open up to possibility there of one different imagery affecting individuals differently, and not all being about one thing and our individual perception, but where could it go from there once we begin opening that up?
oh, I love that. It's like a self-exploration. Like all of the art that you draw to yourself, you almost like see yourself in some part of that. And art is
Yeah.
subjective, even though I love talking about beauty and that some of these modern artists there it goes kind of away, right, from beauty
Hmm.
itself. But it's still art and it's still people who loves it. It's interesting. It's almost like you will resonate with whatever part of you that is within you, correct, right?
Hmm.
That's amazing. So, what when you are coaching, okay, let's talk about like your work as specific. When you are coaching and you help people dissolve limiting beliefs as one part of your work, how do you find parallels between that process and what happens when someone connects with art, for example? Do you see any connection with that?
Yeah, and I just need to think about that one for a moment. There's a place, and I can only speak from my perspective, I guess. There's a place when we connect to and suddenly realize a limiting belief that comes forward. And I've seen it in myself, I've seen it with clients where there's this, I can't believe what's behind. I can't believe I was still living by that, or something we learned typically in childhood that on some level we thought we knew it, but we didn't realize it was driving our behavior forward. Or the whole idea, sometimes they're conscious. I mean, one of the most common is I'm not good enough or I don't deserve to. Those are the two biggest.
Really?
If I was going to distill the work that I do and probably the work of all the giving fields into one or two sentences, the
Why
core.
do you think that happened? It is like a because I'm so deep into like healing myself and like
Mhm.
specifically to do the work that I do and now like exploring this new range of like podcasting and talking to people. I would love to hear your take on it. Why do you think that exists? Because I
I'm
see
going
that
to go
on
at it.
artists too.
Yeah, I'm going to go at it a couple different levels. On the first, most basic, grounded level, many of us, not all, but many of us, spend our childhoods being told we don't know what we're doing, we're not good enough, we should do it differently, and we're told how to. And that becomes a bit of a belief. Then, as we grow up and come into adulthood and we try out new things or we experiment, we go do something new that calls us forward, we've now been indoctrinated with this idea that we should just know it. And when we stumble and fail, therefore it's this story that we take on ourselves of I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I don't know what I'm doing is different than I'm not good enough, because you can learn what to do. So it becomes an evolution forward if I can get better at it. And we learn more by failing than we do by getting it right. But culturally, we're indoctrinated to this idea if you failed, you screwed up and you're not good enough. And then if I go to the really highest level and we get into like transpersonal spiritual theory, that we are all the universe, God, source, whatever word you want to put on it, experiencing incarnation. And part of that was this moment when the portion of the all broke away to say, I want to experience this. And there's this sense of, well, I can't go back because it won't want me. And there's this judgment that then becomes a collective unconscious expression of separation that doesn't exist anyway because we are still part of that. But there's a perception that we are different, that we're all part of the universe. Embrace it.
Yeah. And it's incredible. It is like, I don't know. And I keep questioning myself why we take our failures and it becomes so part of our identity. And it's crazy. And so you have to do just like Michelangelo, you have to remove the things that doesn't serve you just to
Hmm.
live by that core of your being that like, I love one of the sayings that Bashar says, like, "You are worthy because you exist, and that's enough." Right? And
Hmm.
it's so true, but it's so hard for us to actually make it believe. And failure, like, I remove that word, like, it doesn't exist. You're just trying, you're just mastering something that you've never done it before, right? And so
Hmm.
it seems so beautiful saying that in words, but in actuality, in living the day-to-day life, it is something that is not as easy because of that program, the fear program based. That also,
Uh-huh.
if you watch a lot of TV, which I'm sure that you don't, like if you watch a lot of TV, like everything in our lives, it is to make us keep living in this fear, which is the opposite of creative consciousness, right? Because you can
Yeah.
create if you're in survival mode. So when I
Yeah.
also say living in creative consciousness is to get out of this paradigm and then just to heal yourself from those inner narratives that you're not good enough.
Yeah. It's like basic Maslow, that when you're in survival mode, and there's an interesting thing with Maslow, he didn't say you couldn't operate at a higher level. He said it's more difficult to. But when we're down in survival and that's what's encompassing our experience, it is exceedingly difficult to be in a creative space of putting something new into the world or finding a new angle, because we just get so consumed with holding on to and hoarding and just what can I do to get by and make it another hour, minute, or day, versus what can I bring to the world with what exists right here, which is a more expansive approach. And it just seems like so much around us in our culture is designed to keep us there right now. The polarization, social media algorithms, all of it keep us in react going back to your opening words, keep us in reaction rather than helping us shift to a creative space where we can choose how to respond instead of going for that knee-jerk punch.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I feel like living in this fear based paradigm, it completely removes your curiosity to life. Right?
Mhm.
Because it repels curiosity, like how you're in fear, in survival mode. So the last thing you want to have is curiosity. You're not gonna have it. It's just a basic instinct of living, right?
Well, how many of us grew up being told curiosity killed the cat?
Yeah.
Don't go exploring because
Yeah.
that'll you'll be gone. And that keeps us living smaller. And there was another idea that popped in a second ago. There's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, which is an attention focusing device. When we're living in this fear reactive mode of survival, and that's the message that we're filling the RAS with, of keep me safe, keep me alive. We're going to look for all the threats and dangers that
Mhm.
reinforce and validate the fear that the world is dangerous. Versus if we start looking for possibility and expansion, we can fill the RAS with that too, because they're both out there at all times. You don't
And
want to be
your
all the way
brain
on.
will literally filter, correct? So if you
Yeah,
look for
absolutely.
infinity possibilities, that's what you're gonna find.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
so interesting. Our brain is amazing. So, how can art serve as a mirror to our own evolution? I'd love to hear your take on that.
I think it goes back again to the spectrum. And I'm a huge comic art collector. I've got a wall in front of me, original comic art pages, which in some ways are some of the most basic art you can have. It's black and white illustration, but there's so much that goes into the crafting of those, from perspective to figure drawing to the inking and the weight. And then on the far other end, we've got full on nearly photorealistic expression of it with done with paint and everything in between. That Seeing ourselves within that spectrum of all possibility and being able to flow within it, I think speaks to our evolution. Some might lean more toward the photorealistic and then suddenly find there's a lot more to black and white line art than they ever imagined. And it goes back and forth. It's not a one-way flow. It's a back and forth almost. I'm noticing I'm doing an infinity symbol right now.
Oh, yeah, that's why I love
It,
it.
it really flows.
Yeah, that is so amazing. So I have another question for you. If you had a magic wand and could give everyone listening one gift to raise their own creative consciousness, what would it be?
Well, I do have a magic wand.
There you go. I love it.
My gift would be the gift of stillness.
Oh,
Slow down, disconnect, sit in quiet, turn your damn phone off, and be.
connected to the breath, right to your breath. Just in this instant, I just felt this calmness. So if you're not watching on YouTube, go ahead and do it so you can feel the calmness of Dan, like just like putting out there. We all need this right now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is so amazing. Okay, let me see here. I have another question for you. So you actually, let's talk about this book. I got the both books that you just put out. It's on ebook version that you can get on Amazon. Can you
Mhm.
talk about those? Because I got it and it's just so perfect, and I think it bridges exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, I published 3 books, and they came in a moment of inspiration. I had been sitting in a mastermind group that a friend invited me to sit in to be a contributor. And while we're talking and going through helping people solve problems, I hear this voice in my head, full on download, saying, I am as a complete sentence. Okay, just park that for a second. Hold on to it. Not sure what to do with it yet. Just write it down so you don't forget it. And I wrote it down. And as I did, it reminded me of there's a book from the late 70s, early 80s called No is a Complete Sentence,
Mm.
which is about how to set boundaries and be able to say no, it's okay. And so this over the course of about a day and a half, it goes from I am as a complete sentence is my next book. What do I put in it? It's just the original version is 2 pages, 5 words.
Yep.
And as soon as that hit me, the next part of the flow went to what is the shortest book ever written? And when I did a search, in theory, from what I came up, was a 6 word novel by Hemingway that goes baby shoes, one pair, never worn.
Wow.
Like incredible emotion in 6 words. I got that beat by one. Hey, Guinness. So I go to Guinness Book of World Records to request. And as I'm going through the application, I'm like, wait a minute. If I am as a complete sentence, I don't need 5 words. I only need 2.
I am.
And then there was the book that followed was, can I write a book with no words? Well, no words would be a journal. I've done that. What's the book with no words? And it becomes that invitation to silence. And there's a grammatical symbol for an invitation to silence. And that is that book. And after writing them, I realized there's a progression in them of that original version, which is 5 words, is the acceptance of the I am, that just I am is all we need. Not I am this, I am that. Because as soon as we put something after it, we begin separation. I am. And one version has a reflection back, a validation of it. And then we go to silence. And then the ultimate evolution is I am. And that's all that's needed.
That's so powerful. I love that. Okay, so we talk about silence. We can also bridge that to meditation. What if somebody really cannot sit down? If they're having a really bad day, what do you think they should do?
The simplest, and this is hard because I've been there. Many years ago before I came into this work, I was that person. Either just breathe, just take control of your breath. That's the first step, science of breathing. Breath is the system in the body that is both sympathetic and parasympathetic. When we're stressed, we'll breathe short and shallow. When we're relaxed, we'll breathe long and slow. And when we take control over our breathing and begin consciously breathing more slowly, we'll regulate ourselves back down out of that heightened stress level. So breathing is one. Just take it slow, simple as box breathing. 4 in, hold 4, out 4, hold 4, and do that. The other, get out and move, walk, particularly outside, get into nature or as close to nature as possible. There's something when we are around greenery and the smell of trees and plants and life that reinvigorates us. And while I've heard a lot of people say, I can't meditate or I can't visualize, that's okay. You don't have to. What's important is just slow down to connect to the power within you. Because when we feel like we're disconnected from our ability to achieve or our ability to solve it, that's when we'll get into that, the more survival mode of it. I've got to figure it out.
Reactive, right?
And that blocks us. One of the universal laws of manifesting and creating is the law of reverse effect. The harder you try consciously, the more you block your subconscious ability to just have the wisdom come forward. Like when you lose your keys, everybody's been there. I don't need to say any more about it. Slow down and allow the answer to come.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, before we go, I want to talk about your art collection. I know you just not collected just my artwork, but you guys have like a lot of my artwork, and I don't know
Hmm.
how many, but
Like
it's
10 or 12 pieces.
it is so incredible. I am is just so honored that you guys love my artwork so much. Can you share a story of a piece that changed the atmosphere of your space and impact your mindset? I'm talking about the ones
Yeah.
that I painted.
Yeah. The moon that I bought from you a couple years ago. I had seen you post it, the progression of it on Instagram, and there was something about the blue and purple tones in that and the silver touches on the moon that where we have it is on our staircase, which is a gallery wall. Opposite that gallery wall, above our front door, is a square window, maybe about this big. And during the day, since it faces south, the sun tracks through there. And when the sun tracks through at the right time of year and that spot of light hits that moon, it just shimmers. It's beautiful.
So amazing. I think that was the last one that I shipped it to you guys. That is so
Yeah.
incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. I love it. So I already asked you my signature question about the magic wand. Is there anything that you'd love to comment on this podcast that do you think is relevant to our conversation in raising creative consciousness? I would love you to share what's coming
Yeah.
up.
For everyone who is listening, you have creativity within you. You have creativity calling you. You have the ability. Focus less on making it something that it has to be a certain way and just let it come through. It will be what it's supposed to be.
Stop the resistance. Yeah. This is
Yeah.
so hard. I face a lot of resistance. It's like a daily
Oh,
habit.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it's something either that I've never done it before, which is normal, right? Like you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel like good enough and all that. So I kind of have to make a deal with my resistance. It's like, okay, it's not about you. right?
I was asked a question the other day when I was sitting in a little bit of resistance. It was a series of 3 questions that opened it up. I was really surprised. And there's different ways, like recognize the resistance is there, say thank you, because it feels weird. It's going to sound weird to say this initially, but that resistance is a part of us. It's a part of us bringing the resistance forward. And our parts are never trying to harm us, hurt us, or slow us down. They're just trying to keep us safe because that's what they know. So, what is the benefit of the resistance? How is it serving you? Oh, it's preventing me from failing and screwing something up and looking
Mm,
stupid. Well, if I don't care about that, then I can just move forward, or I can thanks for letting me know.
okay.
We're just going to park that for a little bit and I'm going to go forward anyway. And then the other side is just be with it in a way. And back to the 3 questions. What's the worst that would happen? What's the best that would happen? What's most likely to happen?
Solves right away. I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm definitely using this from now on. Thank you so much, Dan, for sharing your wisdom and your heart with us today. Where can people find you and learn more about you and your amazing work that you do?
They can find me on the web at transcendentliving.com. I'm mostly on LinkedIn these days. Don't spend too much time on the other socials, but you can always find me at my website and on YouTube.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I will put everything on the show notes. Make sure that you reach out to Dan. And to everyone listening, remember creative consciousness is about living from creation, not reaction. You are the artist of your life. Thank you, Dan. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank
Good to see
you.
you. Thank you.